welcome back to Nyamira County. We are back on these lush, bountiful hills, and as always, I am having the best experience. I am so excited to be back here to show all of you how far we've reached with this project. We are on the home stretch, and I thought this would be the perfect time to come and show you guys how we have been able to elevate this farmhouse to something that is so classy and elegant. I am on top of one of the most gorgeous gazebos, but of course, with me being up here, it means that this is a functional space. Right in front of me, you can see that we do have a fire pit, so this is fully intended to have a couple of seats. You light a fire at night and you get to enjoy the greenery and the hills and the sky and the trees. It's magical. You guys should see this place at night because it is absolutely out of this world. But also, I know by my side, you can see a couple of features that you might be wondering, what is this all about? So this glass areas right here actually function as a skylight. I will be going downstairs in a moment so you can see it in full effect. But what we've done up here, because we want to keep safety as the main priority, we have used reinforced glass, so which means this is actually safe to step on. If you need to cross over it, very, very safe. If you need to step over it, you can without having to worry about breaking the glass and falling in. And those are the kind of details that we like to pay attention to because safety is always paramount. Another feature that I'm looking at is obviously this built-in seat structure. It couldn't have been on a more perfect corner. From here, with a nice cup of coffee and your newspaper, you could sit here and just look out, take a moment and try and imagine yourself being here, because I am getting the full effect. I'm getting the wind, I'm getting the fresh air, I'm getting the blue skies, I can hear the birds chirping, and that just solidifies to me that the fact that we were like, let the top of the gazebo be a social space is such a great idea. And of course, with all those beautiful things and all this experience, we're gonna go back to safety time and time again. So this area, it is bordered by this beautiful grill work. It is absolutely gorgeous. It goes all the way around. It's nice and clean and classy and simple. And the contrast with the gray of the terrazzo, it's absolutely perfect. It's such a quiet and quaint space. I don't think that there's more that needs to be said. It's all about the experience. And now let's go and see what's going on the inside of this gazebo. Oh my goodness. And how can I not talk about this spiral staircase that is actually leading up there? It is so wonderful, such a great experience to walk on it. But as always, I will emphasize about the quality of workmanship that has been done here. These are absolutely straight and perfect and well measured out. And of course, reinforced again with this beautiful handrail with the same design that you've seen up there, just so that we have that harmony. And the way it is just gently gliding down, honestly, I do feel like a bit of a princess. Oh my goodness, you guys, you have no idea how excited I am to finally get to see the space in its full glory. The last time I was here, it was just pillars and the roof was done, but I heard about the idea of the French doors because it just makes sense. It does have that aesthetic that does feel quintessential with a farmhouse, things that are minimalist and simple. And we also wanted to make it feel really, really open. Now, the easiest way to do that would be, aluminum and glass sliding doors, but we're always innovating, so we went that extra mile and crafted each and every one of these doors. It's just one of those things that we have to do because we're making to measure for a structure that we built from the ground up. So we're not gonna go somewhere and purchase things that are not gonna feel or fit the space the way it's supposed to be. So these are absolutely perfect. The aesthetics are immaculate. Such a great decision. We have the fireplace right here. It is a wood burning fireplace, farmhouse feel, so you do want to keep it as authentic as possible. You might have seen that the chimney actually goes all the way up. You saw at the top we have the end of the chimney, so the smoke will easily travel from this space and go up, and it'll never feel stuffy. And of course, I always talk about, oh, the experience of being bathed in natural light. That is what these skylights are actually doing. I love how long and linear they both are. You have so much natural light just pouring in. It's wonderful. It feels heavenly. I can hear the echo. I love hearing echoes because it just, you know, it makes me feel like I'm in a bigger space, but of course all that will go away once we actually get into furnishing the space, but it gets even better. We have thought ahead and actually built a bathroom, not only one, but we have two sides. So we have a his and hers because we understand that when the client is entertaining, is going to have male and female guests. So we just wanted to give them that privacy. So over on this side, we will have the male side. So I'm thinking we'll install a urinal. We'll have some storage in here. Actually, there is a nook so that any of the bits and pieces that are going to be needed for this bathroom, extra paper towels, do have a place to live in here, and it just makes things so much easier. We'll have the sink there, and then you can see with the tiling, we've gone really nice and simple and clean. We've gone for these white tiles because this is a section that would be dark rather quickly, and thinking of that, you see we have also brought that skylight element right here, so now it's super illuminated, and we also have spotlights so that when it's darker they still have enough artificial light to light up this area. So here we'll have the sink, we'll have the toilet bowl. It just is a well thought out bathroom, and the windows also help in keeping that light penetrating every corner, so it's not a scary experience having to use this bathroom if you're in the gazebo. So that's the tour of the gazebo. Now where I'm walking, we are going to be incorporating paving stones so that if at any angle, the navigation on this property is actually magical. So at any angle, if you're coming to the gate and you just want to go into the lawn, because actually over on this side, on this far end where I'm heading to another beautiful set of stairs with these amazing grills continuing on. So right down here, after these beautiful stairs, we have another big area. A client does like to entertain a lot, so we've left this area for them to be able to put up tents if they're having a bigger function. So this will be completely dedicated to that. Even as we're walking around, you can see that we've been very intentional with how we've placed our landscape lighting. You will notice that we have lights that are directly pointed at the path that I'm currently walking on, and then we have some more circular white ones that are dotted around the property. I said at night this place is magical. It's really helped by that lighting. Oh my gosh, you guys, the view of this house is out of this world. I can't imagine being the person who gets to live here and you're walking around and you have impeccable views all around of nature, but then when you get to walk towards your house, it is this big, wonderful, beautifully thought out structure with the amazing molding on all the corners. The colors are just so fitting for this environment, the textures on it. I'm looking around and there's so many bits and pieces that just work so well together. Nothing of all the different elements I can see feel like they're fighting with each other. They all look really nice and clean and classy and simple, and yet they make such a striking impression. It's so beautiful. But of course, I am looking at the main structure. I've not even gotten into the stairs. I've not even gotten into these side bits of the house. I love the fact that when this house was constructed, there was a very intentional choice to include some nature kind of bordering the actual structure of the house. And of course, as fine urban construction interiors, we were also really happy about that. And we're like, we want to elevate that experience. So here you can see we have grown grass. It's going to come in and be just as lush as the one you see on the lawn. We've put in the landscape lighting just so to highlight all the wonderful things that we are going to be putting there. So over on this side, we're actually intending to have a couple of seats so that the client can walk out of their house, sit in the chair, and actually take in what is one of the most beautiful natural features around, or what I've ever seen personally. This is one of the best views. And over on this side, we're still also going to grow in the grass. We have the landscape lighting. But what I really, really like is the fact that over on this side, this piece of lighting is actually going to highlight the water fountain that's going to be here. So again, I'm going to ask you guys, try and picture this, right? You wake up, you have this big, beautiful sky. You have so much green around you. You hear the birds chirping and you're like, you know what? It's a good day to be outside. You walk out the front of your house. You have seats there. And even beyond that, you have the calming sound of water running. It's just an immaculate experience, honestly. I want to be back here. I want to get to sit in those chairs and try and imagine what that feeling would be, because when you're rebuilding farmhouses or restructuring a farmhouse, these are the experiences that really matter to the people who are taking the time, reaching out to us as a company to be like, give me my dream home, give me my dream farmhouse. It's all about how do you feel in that environment. So up the stairs we go. We will have lighting. You can see that we have the provisions right there. We'll have lighting guiding you to the top of these beautifully done stairs. I really love the scope of them. And then at the top, we have the beautiful columns. Again, it's all about elevating that experience. And you can see here, as always, our fundis have done such an excellent job. The color selection, the shape. I've always talked about this detail in each and every video that I have done on this house, because it is truly that perfect. You get to see all the details. We have much more molding on this house. We'll get a closer look while we're upstairs. But for now, what I want to highlight is just how clean and well finished this entire area is. It's beautiful, simple, and it's exactly what this house needed in terms of an entrance. Now, with all that teasing done, we can go into the inside of the house. But as always, when you're walking into any space, you have to interact with the door. Here, you can see I am interacting with this door. We do have this detail with the grid going through it. It is a security feature, but it's also one of those things that the client specifically asked for. But it's all about the material. It's all about the quality. So every time I touch a door, when I'm walking through these properties, I always emphasize on how it feels. This feels quite heavy, and that tells me it's sturdy and it is going to fulfill the purpose of having extra security. Now we are inside the main hallway. So this house, the way it's structured, you have a bit of a hallway before you actually get to see any of the rooms. And one of those things that I'll keep harping on is go back, watch the previous videos. We will insert before pictures and footage so you can get a great understanding of just how transformed this house is. It is so much lighter. That is helped by the color selection and the color selection on the floor and the beautiful detailing that we've done in tons of gypsum. It would be easy to overwhelm this space with white, because you imagine that white is the color that's going to make a room feel brightest. But if you do too much white, you will overwhelm the space. So we've gone with something that's a really soft color. We've gone for the white on the ceiling, but with the gypsum details that we love to do, we've gone with something that feels really intricate and beautiful. And then we've highlighted that with using a darker grayish brown color, and then going that one step further and adding in these spotlights just to make sure that this hallway never feels dark, no matter what time of day it is. And speaking of color selection on the floor, wonderful, wonderful tiles. This is the perfect choice for this house. You will see a lot of things that have that natural feel to it. This obviously is not real wood. I've always talked about how wood can be a bit finicky. It can be quite difficult and high maintenance. So we still want to keep that farmhouse feel. We want to introduce textures and colors that feel like a farmhouse. And we are using this tile to do that at the entrance, just to represent the kind of design ideas that we're taking throughout the house. So now I am entering the living room. Here we have two wooden steps That is actual wood. Last time it was here, those had not been installed yet. They were kind of just laying about, and they just knew that they were going to elevate the experience and transition from the hallway into the living room. It is something that feels a bit more to the orange side of the color spectrum, because, you know, with that is more of a blonde tile, and then we have this deeper, darker, natural wood, and then we go back to the blonde tile that is in the living room. And what a marvelous living room. This space is so huge, and it feels so much more open thanks to all the work that we did. I will always flaunt the things that are not immediately apparent. Something that you might not appreciate is the fact that we actually dug out this floor. This floor was much higher, and when I'm talking about, oh, we have steps, we were only able to put in those steps because we actually dug out the floor to have a space that doesn't feel quite as compact or cramped, because we couldn't really move the ceiling upwards. That would just be too much work and cost on the client, so we dug it out, and now we have a ceiling that feels so much higher. And in terms of design, that's what you want. For spaces to feel big and airy and open, you need higher ceilings. And speaking of ceilings, while we're up there, we do have another incredible gypsum design. It's a circle. It's a shape that you guys know I really, really love because it's simple, but so, so impactful. This actually makes this room even feel bigger than it is. We do have the spotlighting all around, and obviously, guys, there's something missing. You know, no fine urban construction and interiors project is finished without that pop of a lighting feature in the center of a beautiful gypsum design. So these are kind of those final elements that we will install when we come to do the final reveal. And when it comes to a good living room, of course, guys, this is Pine Avenue Interiors. What else do you expect? We always make such an awesome feature of the TV wall, and this one's not even finished yet. So here we are going to have a piece of granite because it's just one of those things. It is so classy, adds something aesthetically different into the room, but of course we're gonna go with tones that work well with everything in here. And this is actually wood, so you can see even here we do have those natural touches and natural elements implemented into this house. It is the core of what we're doing here. This is a farmhouse, so the selection of the material is so, so important to make sure that even though we're modernizing and we're making this place classy, we're not completely forgetting the point of the house and its environment. So this being a farmhouse, we've gone with the darker brown, continuing on those different tones of brown in this house. And here we have a display shelf, as always, over on this side, so the client can, you know, add in the decor to make this house feel more of a home. And as I'm looking around, talking about the lighting, talking about how big this space is, we have to appreciate the amount of light that's coming in. And when we're talking about windows, fine urban construction and interiors is about putting beauty into spaces. So we have gone with a design that's a bit busier than usual, but still is suitable for this environment. It does not stand out and does not take anything away from the beauty of this space. And this living room actually has a natural fireplace. Now, usually we would install one at the TV wall, but seeing as this is a farmhouse and does have a natural wood burning fireplace, we have just gone ahead and, you know, straightened it out and put in a bit of molding and just make sure that it is functional so that when the client actually wants to use it, they don't have any issue with smoke filling up the house. So we've just, you know, looked at it and made sure that it's purely functional. With all that space planning and all these details, we now have a big open space, and all the client has to do is come in and put in their seats. You could have a couple of seats there, you could have a couple of seats there, you could have some here. Maybe if you want to have like an armchair there, it's also a possibility if you want to be closer to the fire, and that's what we want to do. We want to create a space where the client really does feel like they can make their own. Now we have some more wooden steps here. Natural wood, highest quality wood. Best believe that we are picking the highest quality, whether it's wood or it's metal, if it's glass. If it's lighting, if it's paint, everything is of the highest quality. Now we have those 2 steps leading into the dining room. And here you can see something that is so well reflected. As I'm standing here, I have a really good view of the entrance. It does have that chevron pattern, and that has been taken here just so it doesn't feel like, oh, you guys just did one design at the entrance and then we don't see it represented anywhere else. We like having things continue throughout the house because it ties it together. So here in the dining room, the same blonde tile with that exposed wood feel in a chevron pattern. It's dynamic, it's beautiful because we've kept everything else quite simple. The colors on the walls are still very nice and subtle. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is not white on the wall. It is like a really light gray color. We like going with colors like that for spaces like this because, to be honest, with a farmhouse, you should expect a little bit of dust, a little bit to kind of blow in through the windows. So if you have bare white walls, you're going to have a whole lot of trouble in your hands because it's something that's going to completely change the beauty of your house. So what else do we have here? Of course, we always think about space planning, how many people need to be here, and I'll guarantee you that no matter what the client wants to put in this space, we have considered it, we have consulted them, and it will fit perfectly. And of course, as always, we will have a sink right here. You can see the provisions of that are already in. And I have to say, this doesn't need to be a fussy space. We might just complete it with, a few wall hangings here and there just to make it feel a bit more aesthetically pleasing, just things that will catch the eye. So I'm thinking a bare wall like this one. It's such a great opportunity to have like an abstract, which will also actually be reflected into the living room. Anytime you see a house that I'm walking through that has big bare walls and you're like, ooh, that space is going to be a bit boring, just know we are the kings of making the most of empty wall spaces. So in this house, mostly we're going to work on having abstracts, and I can't wait to see what kind of pictures that we choose because I know it's still going to tie into the theme of a farmhouse. So continuing on, I am standing next to such a beautiful feature. Again, we're working with wood, we're continuing that theme, and nothing is clashing. You can tell this is a different color from that, but they're still in the same family, so they actually feel like they belong together. So we wanted to create a partition. The client did not want like a super open kitchen design. So what we've ended up doing is creating a partition where you're still allowing light to travel between these 2 spaces, but you're still giving them that sense of privacy. It is so beautifully done in the wood, as I said. Excellent. I don't know, there's nothing more I could say about that. I just really, really love that design element. And over on this side, here we saw the opportunity to create shelving. You guys know we love a good display shelf, so I can imagine some really nice decor pieces here that will also end up adding so much to the design of the dining room. It's these details, guys, these small details that really make a space feel alive. And speaking of, the gypsum here has been kept simple. It is not a big space. It does not need that much fuss. And again, we've played around with down lighting. You'll see that we've done that in a lot of spaces, and you'll understand as we keep going. I'll explain exactly why you see no cove lighting in this house. About this kitchen. It is white, it is bright, it's expansive, it feels really, really luxurious, and I can immediately identify all the different elements that have been put into the space that make it feel like that. Apart from having the white cabinetry in here, upper level, lower level. Guys, I promise as the project goes on, we will be putting handles on all this cabinetry, but now I just want to highlight how much storage we have provided for this client. We have drawers, cabinets, we have open spaces. I'm looking around and I cannot see any spots that have not been put to good use. But one of the main things that I have noticed just walking in is this open shelving area right here. From what I understand by talking to the lead designer, this is like an open spice rack. If you cook often, you know that it can be quite difficult when you have to stuff all your spices in one area, and then you have to look for the black pepper in the back or the cumin. So it's really nice to have an open area where it's so easy for you to just walk by and be like, oh, right there, that's what I need. So as I'm walking around, as I mentioned, we have the cabinetry, we have beautiful counter space. So that means that more people can easily use this kitchen, and they truly appreciate the fact that I can see that we have spot lighting here, meaning that this is actually going to be a functional space. So if you're cutting anything or arranging anything, you can use this place quite safely. I'm seeing more counter space here in this corner, and this is where I'd imagine that you would put, if you have like an electric mixer, this is where you'd place it, or if you have like a coffee machine, you have so many things that you could actually put in this area, and it'll be nice and tucked away. And obviously we do have an island with a very, very beautiful marble worktop that you can see all the other spaces also have. It's just one of those elements that is adding to that brightness and that luxurious feel. And I think the thing that really attracts me to what I'm seeing is the fact that we have used big slabs that have no interruption. It's just one of those things that makes things feel so elevated. And as I'm looking around and walking around, I'm also noticing that that goes on over to the sink. Obviously here, you know, you have to make a few cuts just to make sure that the sink that you're putting in is well fitted, but it does give that illusion of just being continuous. Absolutely stunning. And that theme goes on to the floor tiling. Honestly, I do feel like if you were to stand at the right angle in this kitchen, it would feel completely seamless, because the same ideas are represented in different unique ways throughout this kitchen. So the floors also have these big expansive tiles with that gray graining running through it, and you can also see that on the backsplash. But it's quite unique because the different sizes of the tiles and the different way that that graining runs through it, it does add dimension without having something that feels so busy and so garish and so colorful. The color palette in here is absolutely exquisite, and I love the fact that we have added in those brown tones that wouldn't feel, just to break it up so you don't end up with a space that really feels super clinical and you're, you know, treading and walking on eggshells because you're like, everything is just gonna get super dirty. We have broken it up and it is quite eye-catching. We had to make sure that we're incorporating lighting in here. And as you're looking at it, I think you can see the theme. You can see the follow through of the themes that I have been emphasizing as I've gone through this project so far. Farmhouse feel. So that means we are going with things that feel a bit more rustic, a bit more lived in, and add to that aesthetic. And that doesn't mean that it has to be like super old or broken down. It just means that it has to be super stylish and actually provide the function that we're looking for. And this was the perfect piece with those rope touches. Absolutely perfect. Now, one of the things that you might not see immediately, or you might not even notice, that I sometimes also miss, is the fact that this kitchen has been expanded. So there's been so much more work than just coming in and putting in beautiful countertops and installing these wonderful customized cabinetry and storage units. We have also made the space bigger. So initially, the kitchen ended, let me see, yeah, it would be right here. This is where the kitchen ended. And of course, it did feel really, really small and really cramped and did not reflect the grandeur of the rest of the house. So we saw the opportunity to extend out the house, because this area was just initially a veranda that was outside the kitchen. And we're like, no, you do need a bigger kitchen. So we broke down that wall and we expanded it. And now with everything that we've done, you can see that it's so worth it. I need you guys to go back and watch the journey we've been on with this kitchen. I need you guys to see what it was before and what we've actually been able to transform it into. So the cooking space is actually going to be right here in this corner. And I know at the moment we don't have all those fittings in, but as always, I always talk about the beauty of being able to work with fine element construction and interiors to get a fully customized kitchen. That's how you end up being so confident as to build out these customized shelvings, knowing that you've taken the measurements of all the utilities that are going to be in this kitchen. So the cooking station is going to be there, the refrigerator is going to be there. We do already have spaces that are perfect for your microwave and your oven. So it just means that this kitchen, no matter what stuff the client chooses to bring into their house, they do have a nice and neat tucked away space for each and every utility. This environment is really expansive and open, and you have so much open sky, so you have such beautiful sunshine pouring in. So when we are designing a kitchen like this, in an environment like this, we have to make sure we have big windows allowing light to pour in, but also look up, we have these beautiful skylights. That is a design that we are implementing in a lot of the houses because we have just come to realize that it makes spaces feel so much brighter, and then it's also eye-catching. It's just a beautiful feature to have. Let's take a look at the common bathroom. So once you walk into the hallway, you can directly come in this way, but as you've seen, there's a whole access area. So the common bathroom right over here, first of all, the color selection is so perfect of how this gray plays off that light gray on the walls. So perfect. And then, my goodness me, I have to say, this is one of the spaces that I was so excited to see what was going to happen, because when I first came here, I was like, if I had to be a guest in this house, in the way that it looked before, I'd be terrified. I'd be like, look, can I go use the bathroom in one of the bedrooms? Because it felt so small. And I was like, how are we going to make this feel more lively? But it's all down to the material selection. It's all down to what are you using in the space. That's what really matters. And I love the fact that here we have gone with big tiles. Oh my goodness, that is a soap bottle. It is so hefty as well. You just know. Once you touch something, you can tell if it's good quality. Oh my goodness, this is actually absolutely stunning. It's one of those things now that the client doesn't have to think about. They have something that's permanently going to exist into this space that actually works with the aesthetic. They don't have to have like a plastic bottle there. Wonderful. It's actually quite wonderful. And then we have the toilet bowl. As always, guys, highest quality. I think that's the name of the game. At this point, you should expect that I will highlight all the features that we put into any bathrooms, any kitchens, any spaces that we touch, because when it comes to selection, whether you are in Nairobi or whether you are in Kisii, you will always have the highest quality, because that's what we pride ourselves in. We are putting things into people's houses that we want them to have for years and years and years. So this corridor as well had to be well lit. So we have the light coming in from the kitchen, pouring into here, and that's why it feels really bright. We've continued the spot lighting. So when you're transitioning from space to space, you never feel like you're moving from a really bright area to something that feels dark. And it's really helped by the fact that we've continued on the same blonde colored tile leading into the rooms. So let's take a look at room number 1 over here. We have to stop at the door. It's just the small things, guys. These doors, they're amazing. That color, that contrast. It's just one of those things that makes things stand out and add in that extra touch of beauty into a space, because things could go really bare, boring, and bland quick. So having that eye is just amazing. I just love it. I absolutely love it. So now we are in the bedroom. Here you see we don't have like an extravagant size. It is a standard size bedroom, which is absolutely perfect. We can work with any size. We've changed up The tile on the floor now, we have a darker brown color, which works really well with the darker brown that we've actually put on the cabinetry. This feels like if I touch it, it'll actually be rough, but it is not because it is laminated wood, but it still has that really clear textural element. And it's just one of those things that we have made sure to put in to keep going with that farmhouse feel. That's another key word, farmhouse feel. We have to consider the materials, the textures, the feel of the space. So incorporating touches of wood to the cabinetry instead of just putting it white, it makes sure that the house continues with that theme. Of course, this room has a ensuite with beautiful, beautiful textured tiles. I can see on the wall we've gone with something that's a bit glossier. Here we've been able to go with a smaller tile because we have much more space to work with. The floors have the same theme in a smaller tile. We have the bathroom, the shower area in here. My goodness, it's the small things in life. I've always said that. So not only do we have a completely hidden shower, you don't have that rod, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. In most bathrooms, you do have, you know, the exposed kind of plumbing. You can see all the bits and pieces that are necessary, but here it's really nice and tucked away. You have your shower head, you have your tap, you have your faucet, all nice and clean and chrome, which makes it so easy to handle and easy to clean, but also you have somewhere to place your soap. So we have another chrome tap here. We have a nice oval sink. We have a lovely big mirror. It's not something tiny. It's not too high up. So it is somewhere that you are actually quite comfortable in using. This is actually quite nice. I can see my whole body. I can see my outfit. So this would actually even be a good place to kind of check out your outfit, do your makeup, because the light does allow that. And here we have the toilet bowl, which of course is always the same quality. High quality, well thought out, the perfect size, and nice and tucked away in the corner. And of course over there you do have your tissue holder. So let's take a look at another room. So this room actually needs to have 2 beds. So that meant the way we're looking at the cabinetry that we're customizing for this room has to accommodate 2 people. So the beds are the headboard's actually going to be on this side, so they are going to be facing this side, and here we have ample room. I can see 2 different sides for the open shelving. As always, they have that excellent touch. I will say at the bottom for where you can put your shoes that you use frequently. We have the big wardrobes. At the moment, this is how I have to open these, just because we haven't put in the handles yet. That is coming in the next phase. So you can see here we have made a lot of space, so we'll be able to hang things in there. Of course, as I said, there's still bits and bobs that we're working on. So this will be an area where you can have some folded clothes, some hanging clothes. It's just really, really well thought out. I've always said our cabinetry kind of tries to mimic a boutique feel so that you can really set out and arrange your stuff in the most neat way possible. So let's take a look at what we've done for this bathroom. Like, what's the same? What's different? Have we chosen different tiles? So when I'm looking around, I'm seeing some of those exact same features we saw in the other bathroom, which lets me know that we are not favoring certain rooms and then letting some rooms fall to the wayside. We have continued with having the chrome touches all over. It works so excellently, and making sure that throughout everything is of the highest quality. Apart from that red, I'm seeing that the mirror in here is different. It's a different shape, and I'm seeing a lighting. That is, oh my gosh, is that automatic? What's going on there? Oh my goodness, that is so cool. That is so cool. I have to ask about where this was bought. I think I've just found the thing that I might want to steal from this house. That is amazing. I love that. I love that so much. It could be here forever, but Sadly, we have to keep going. The fact that I have come to a house that has the type of staircase that evokes such a strong feeling just makes me know that we're heading in the right direction as a company. And most of all, the wooden feel. Ugh. As if the wood wasn't represented enough in everything that we've done, the fact that we saw the wood leading into the living room and then leading into the dining room, and seeing that we've gone for the main staircase to also have natural wood that is so expansive and is so warm, absolutely stunning. It's so, so stunning. So seeing that we have actually put this light on the handrail, it's one of those things that we really thought about, because think of it like this. We've provided something that provides support for an older person. But now, if it's dark, you need something that will really, really highlight it. And I know you're looking around and you're seeing all the recessed lighting and you're seeing the chandelier, and you're like, surely that's enough. It doesn't hurt to highlight the things that are most important to a space. So we did feel it necessary to add in that lighting. But of course, in talking about this side, I'm really ignoring another thing that really adds to the beauty of the staircase. Of course, it's the design that we have gone for the grills. It is sturdy, meaning it also provides support, but it's such a beautiful touch, and it's something that runs through the entire property. We've seen it on the outside, and here you can see that we've also brought it to the inside of the house. We always like to make experiences of introductions of new spaces. So here, when you're coming up the stairs, this area was bare. It was just a wall, as you would expect, as it is with most houses, but we see opportunity. We want to make the most out of your beautiful home. So here we have created more storage. You can never have too much storage, especially if you're going to live in a house for years and years. So we've created storage, but as always, we have a display shelf. So you can have some deco items here. That's something that's just so eye-catching. And as you come up the stairs, we have that cove lighting there. So here, I love the fact that even though we have incorporated one of those touches with light, we've kept that wood texture on this display. That way, those two things kind of work very well together. So here, we're playing around with the idea of having a coat rack or even an art piece. Really, the world is our oyster, but overall, I can say, even looking at it as it is now, it is a beautiful, beautiful customized piece. And continuing on with the customization, we have yet another piece right here. It has shelving and it has more storage here in terms of cabinetry. We continued on with that white face and also having some textured wooden feel all around it, and it's incredible. Guys, I want you to try and imagine. Every time I'm pointing out, like, oh, look, we have this thing that has a wooden feel to it. I want you to imagine if this entire thing was white, that would blend into the wall. I would look kind of bland and boring. To be honest, that's what it would look like. It would look bland and boring, but continuing with the themes that we have seen throughout, we made sure to add this in a very subtle and beautiful way. So we have shelving here. This is actually a bar that is right outside the master bedroom. So if the client chooses, they could display some of their favorite drinks here, and if they have any more, they can always store them down below. I'm not going to ignore the floor of this transition area because, again, we have that light blonde colored wood effect tile in the chevron pattern. I just love the fact that we're not only playing around with color, but we're also playing around with the layout of the tile. It just adds a dynamic to the house aesthetically. So let's take a look at one of the first bedrooms on this floor. So as soon as you walk in, the tile changes. We have a nice warm tile on the floor. Again, exposed wood feel. We have that transitioning up to the cabinetry once again. So the idea is to have the bed over on this side, and it is going to be facing the bathroom. Actually, this is not going to stay like this. So we are going to make it one way so that you have absolute privacy. We would never create such a huge problem. So here we have the bathroom with the sliding door and has a much better layout. And that also allowed us come in and put in the fittings that you've seen throughout the other bathrooms. So we still have the same high quality sink here, the same shape. We have the same toilet bowl, the chrome finish touches, and the shower. Goodness, the spaces make me happy. When I walk into a room and it feels big and it feels open, it brings me so much joy. It's wonderful. I love what the tiles have done for this space. I think the last time I was here, it was covered up or we were just working on the tile. I can't quite remember, but it has truly come to life. Oh my God. And I think for spaces that are this expansive is when you can actually stand back and see what that texture of the tile has actually done for the room. It feels so rustic and natural in such a beautiful, considered way. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. But of course, there's so many other things. So many things I want to focus on, like this wall. This entire wall of cabinetry, all sliding glass doors, so that there's nothing hiding. That one sweater that you love so much, but you keep forgetting to wear, cannot hide in a wardrobe like this. So we are going to make the most out of this view by providing seating in this particular area, facing the outside, so the client does have a place where they could easily hop off their bed and sit on the couch and really take in the beauty of nature. And over on this side, we have another nook with a window. We thought this would be the perfect space to put a desk. If they need to do any work within the room, they are able to do that without having to step a foot outside the master bedroom. It is a wonderfully done room, and right now it does feel empty just because you guys are used to seeing our properties when we have in the curtains and the furniture and all that. But I appreciate coming to these sites right before we're done so that I'm able to really highlight what does the house look like on its own. So let's look at the master bathroom. Oh my goodness. This is so wonderful. Oh wow. Oh my gosh. This looks familiar. This is such a beautiful piece. His and hers sink that actually has some drawers, so you can store away all your extras or all the things that you use day in, day out, you know, that you don't want to be placing on top. So obviously here you can have a really, really beautiful hand soap dispenser. You know, you could add in some really nice and delicate pieces for, you know, putting away your toothbrush and stuff like that. You can really keep this clean and beautified because you have storage space down here for all those things that, you know, you don't want to clutter the top of your sink. And as women, we know. You guys know what I mean. We could have so many things, but here again, we have a nice, lovely mirror. That will never fail to impress me. I just love that so much. We have the chrome touches going on, you know, the hand towel, but this is the space that I truly, truly appreciate. The thought that went into this. I have mentioned briefly that we're looking at the age of our clients. We're looking to the fact that they're gonna be here for a long time, so they are going to age or grow old in this house. So we have to think about that. What kind of restrictions might they have as they're getting older? What might they need? So we've created a space where they can sit down when they're taking a shower. You know, the older we grow, the more fragile we get. So you can no longer spend all those hours just standing in the shower, you know, just hours and hours. Sometimes your knees are gonna get weak, so they do have a really nice space here that has been built out by us so they can sit down and calmly take their time to take a shower if they need. But we've also created a space here that would be nice to just display your soaps and stuff. As always, aesthetics follow on into the bathroom, and we have a nice shower head here and a handheld, what do we call this? Is that and mobile or like telephone, I don't know. Guys, tell me, what is this? What's the technical term for this? But it's just one of those things that is really nifty and does give you that leeway to reach every crevice that you would want to. And of course, that continues on with the chrome theme. Again, here we have the soap dish. So, guys, you have to help me out. You have to help me out. That's where you put your soap. Chrome, nice, clean, white tiles. We've seen that in all the other bathrooms. These ones are glossy here, but what makes this bathroom stand out is the type of tile that we've chosen for the floor. It's so stunning and grainy. I love textured tiles, especially for bathroom floors. I've always emphasized that anywhere that you're gonna be using a lot of water, like you do when you're in the shower, the last thing you want to do is put down a tile that is gonna be beautiful but slippery. Gosh, I do not want to imagine ever hearing of any project that we've done that I've talked about where someone had an accident because of a choice that we made as a company. So when I walk around to bathrooms and I'm able to feel the texture of the tile and feel that it has grip, it makes me so happy because I know as a company, we stay true to keeping our clients safe in every space. So this is a beautiful grainy, gray tile that just adds so much character to this room. We have our toilet bowl right behind me again with that pop of color in red, but most of all, it's the small things. It's the small things. I am looking at everything and I am noticing not only the chrome touches on the taps and the shower and the towel rails and all that stuff, I'm seeing it in this aluminum that is bordering every one of these spaces. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. Like you can see it here, you can see it there. It's a really nice way to smoothly finish off those edges of the tile, but I love the fact that it actually also plays into the chrome finishes of this bathroom. It's wonderful. It's so well thought out, and it was much smaller. It was. Honestly, my brain sometimes, even though I get to walk through these bathrooms or these houses, my brain sometimes forgets. Like I'll be here and the space will be small and I'll come back and see it at this stage and be like, oh wow, it's so wonderful, it's so wonderful, and completely forget the structural work that actually went into expanding spaces. And I know this is one of those places that happened, and that's why I tell you guys, before you watch this stage, go and watch the before. Just go so that you can actually see the scope of work that was done. It's wonderful, it's beautiful. I don't know what else I could say. Going to finish off this video with a question. Are you currently living in your dream home, or are you just getting by and tolerating subpar work? Because if you are tolerating subpar work, call us, guys. Look at what we're able to do in Nyamira County. One of the things I remember saying when we first started showcasing this property is that we want to create the Runda Mudaiga experience wherever you are. We are going to take good care of your property. We are going to listen to your needs. We're going to consider how long you are going to be using that space and which loved ones and friends you want to enjoy the experience of living in your house. So I hope this tour has been able to reflect that even if it's a farmhouse that is somewhere far away where you think no one will ever come here, we're the guys you call, and you can see this entire property has been such a great demonstration of what we're able to do in terms of landscaping and considering your entertainment and your leisure and your environment, and most of all, what your structure looks like. I feel like this shot alone should be enough to showcase that Fine Urban Construction and Interiors is truly serious about what we're trying to do in terms of changing the face of construction and interior design in Kenya. I hope all of you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll be here next time when we're doing the final reveal Leave your comments down below, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. And you can also find us on all other social media platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting. Just Google Fine Urban Construction and Interiors, and you should find us on all platforms.